Coming up, it's a foraging tradition passed down through generations, why picking patches of wild onions is more than just that.
You experience a very special feeling being one with nature and knowing where our food comes from.
And casting a line with professional angler and Cherokee citizen Jason Christie.
So one of the purest things that we can do as a person is go fishing. I mean, that's a way that our ancestors provided for the family, was catching fish.
How he chose a life in the Bassmaster spotlight and why it means more to him than just fishing. And it's a prehistoric plant integral to the lives of Cherokees and other southeastern tribes. But populations of river cane are now sparse, to say the least.
Well, we are taking back being stewards of our land and saying, hey, we're going to start protecting not only animals, we're going to start protecting plants as well.
What the Cherokee Nation is doing to bring the plant back. And later, it all started with a promise to her best friend, the inspiring story that brought Cherokee citizen Marcela Morton from couch potato to the Boston Marathon and more.
The Cherokees.
A thriving American Indian tribe.
Our history.
Our culture. Our people.
Our future.
The principles of a historic nation.
Sewn into the fabric of a modern world.
Hundreds of thousands strong. Learning.
Growing.
Succeeding.
And steadfast.
In the past, we have persevered through struggle.
But the future is ours to write.
Osiyo.
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 These are the voices of the Cherokee people.
I'm Principal Chief Bill John Baker. Osiyo, and welcome to the Cherokee Nation. We're so proud to share our stories with you. Wado.
Osiyo, it's how we say hello in Cherokee. This show is the first of its kind, taking you through Cherokee country, bringing you the voices of the people who shape our nation. One of those people is Myra Robertson. Like many Cherokees, she looks forward to each spring because it's wild onion season and a time to share with the people she loves.
I would go along with my grandmother, my Aunt Nudge, and my mom, and I'd listen to them talk, and I'd help dig onions, and that's how I knew the difference. You know, there's of what to look for, where to look for them, and when you do it on a regular basis, you know, year after year, it's just something that's natural. And there's certain places, you know, that are well known, you know, to the people that do gather mushrooms or dig onions or get possum grapes, huckleberry, you know, I mean, they know where it grows. And a lot of patches is a common place, you know, and you see different families going to that spot to get them. We usually clean on site, that way you can leave the roots. You always leave something that you don't take and without giving back. You know that they're going to be there next year, you know. It depends on the weather and in the different regions, different areas of the Cherokee Nation, like how they grow. Some comes up earlier in certain areas than in other areas. After they're clean, you just chop them up and you cover them with water. If they're young and they're tender, it don't take them very long, you know. And you just cover them in water, put a little bit of salt in there, and you just let them cook down, you know, and boil down. And once they are tender, then you just take your eggs and you just beat them up and you pour them in there, and it don't take them very long, and they're ready. That's it. It's real simple. You experience a very special feeling being one with nature. and knowing where our food comes from, you know. And it's not just from the grocery store, you know, knowing that it was there, it was placed there for us. 2 or 3 years back, you know, we had went to dig onions in this certain place, and in the distance, I could see another Cherokee family, but I couldn't tell who they was, and they couldn't tell who I was. But we put our hand up and greeted one another. And I stood there and I thought, how much longer is it going to be like that when you could go out, you know, to the woods and you can greet these, you know, another Cherokee family, and you know, they know what you're there for and you know what they're there for, you know, and it feels good. And I thought, you know, that left an impression on me. That's what life is really about, you know, is being around those that you love and enjoying what is given to us as a gift.
There'd be a bunch of my cousins, we'd all get together. They didn't have to tell us to dig the onion. We did it ourselves, you know. We did it because it was fun. And I want this little one to grow up like that.
And he will. As long as there's Cherokee people that teach, and I feel like that yeah, in 10 years from now, there's still going to be people digging onions.
The Cherokee Nation celebrated the opening of its newest casino just south of the Kansas state line, bringing 135 new jobs to the South Coffeyville area. Cherokee Casino South Coffeyville offers 17,000 square feet of entertainment, including 300 electronic games, food, and drinks. The $10 million development brings 135 new jobs to the area, and 100 of those employees are Cherokee citizens.
This is kind of a big opportunity for anybody outside of the area.
It's a great day for the Cherokee Nation, where we have the opportunity to come as far north as the Cherokee Nation comes, almost to the Kansas line, and be able to create 100 Cherokee jobs, where jobs is the most important thing in this part of the Cherokee Nation.
Cherokee Casino South Coffeyville is located on North Highway 169. The Cherokee Nation is proud to sponsor several professional athletes who have mastered their sports. Today we're going fishing with professional angler and Cherokee citizen Jason Christie, who takes us out on the lake and tells us how he turned his passion into a career.
From Park Hill, Oklahoma, Jason Christie. 10 pounds, 13 ounces. Jason Christie makes history with the greatest rally in Bassmaster Elite Series history.
My name is Jason Christie. I live in Northeast Oklahoma. I was born and raised here, and I'm a professional bass angler. I was from one of those families that we didn't have, I'm not saying we didn't have anything, but we didn't have everything. We did things like sports, hunting and fishing. Those were the things that interested us and kept us busy. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to be outside doing something. Basketball was what I wanted to do, and that's what I chose. You know, whenever I was coaching, I spent a lot of time thinking about, I was in the gym thinking, man, I'd like to be fishing or I'd like to be deer hunting. And now, you know, I never sat in the boat thinking, I wish I could be doing something else. 5 or 6 years after I started coaching, I pretty much just laid it down. I quit and talked to my wife and told her, I said, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something different. And what I wanted her to say was, why don't you start fishing? But I wanted her to say it. And literally, I mean, I thought, I'll take a 1-year vacation, I'll try it. If it doesn't work, I can always get a job coaching. All along, I wanted to do that, I just never thought I had the opportunity. And finally, I had the opportunity, and I knew it was now or never.
Gotcha. Oh, it came off.
Early memories that I can remember is we did a lot of camping, and I can remember I'd wake up, you know, and look down there, and it'd be light, and my dad would be walking the shore fishing, and you know, he's doing some of it, for fish to eat, but you know, a lot of it, bass fishing, he was just doing it for fun. And about the age of 10 or 12, I think my dad was starting to get out of fishing. And once we moved closer to the lake here, and I talked him into buying a boat, and I started winning some of this local stuff, it got him back into it. It got him excited to go. And it was cool because I'm out there, not only am I fishing, I'm making money, and I'm getting to do a lot of that with my dad. A lot of the guys that fish professionally, they don't fish every day. And I don't fish every day, but I fish a lot. Right now it's 32 degrees and we're looking at probably getting in the high 30s today, and a lot of people think, well, you're crazy. This time of year is when the fish are the heaviest. Day one, Bassmaster Classic, first 5 minutes, it's on, baby. The competition's fierce. I mean, anytime you put anywhere from 100,000 to 500,000 on the line, you're gonna have fierce competition. I mean, we're all buddies before we take off that day, but once we take off, we're competitors. I mean, the thing about bass fishing is there's only one winner. We're kind of like a circus. I mean, we all roll into one town, we have a competition, and we all roll out and move to another town. You know, it's a competition, and it's combined with one of the purest things that we can do as a person, and go fishing. I mean, that's the way that our ancestors provided for the family, was catching fish. But it's something more than that, you know. It's the mental part of it, and the schemes and things that you can do different to make yourself a notch better than everything else.
15 pounds, 3 ounces, Jason Christie has done it!
What I'm about is chasing trophies, because trophies, if you get trophies, you're gonna make some money, and you're gonna win tournaments, and I'm doing this as a profession. I love it, but I'm doing it as a profession. How can I best provide for my family? And I feel like this is it. I've learned to build my brand, you know, Jason Christie Fishing, and the sponsor group around me, and we're a team, you know, me, Cherokee Nation, Falcon Rods, you know, all of us, we're a team, and we support each other, and that makes it easier for me. I don't have to catch a fish every time I go to make a living, you know what I mean? So really helps if you can catch fish too. It's just happened so fast that you kind of forget where you started, and sometimes I sit back and just say, hey, I'm the guy that was driving a motorcycle from pond to pond, catching perch, and I'm the same person that you see when you drive down the road. You see the kids fishing off the bank. That's me. Really, I would like to fish till I'm about 50. Have enough money saved up where I can buy 1,000 acres, put my house dead smack in the middle of it, and watch my kids grow up. The cool thing about my job is it is what I love. And to be able to do it for a living, I mean, it just proves that if you have a dream, you know, you have the opportunity to chase it, and that's what I've done. And I was lucky. I was a hard worker, and I wanted it really bad. It lets me tell kids and even adults, if you have something that you want to do, you know, if you have a dream, and no matter what it is, anybody can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
And Jason Christie will have the opportunity to fish for the title on one of his favorite lakes next year. Principal Chief Bill John Baker was among the state and local leaders who announced they're bringing the Bassmaster Classic back to Tulsa in 2016. The Cherokee Nation's Hard Rock Hotel and Casino will be one of the sponsors of the tournament and all the events surrounding it. The tournament will be next March at Wolf Creek Park, Grove, and Grand Lake of the Cherokees here in Oklahoma. The Bassmaster Classic was last held in Tulsa in 2013 and brought close to 100,000 visitors to our area, and millions more watched it on TV.
Those that watch it on TV from all over the country will want to come to Grand Lake of the Cherokees to experience what they saw the professional anglers do and experience in their time here.
The Classic champion will earn $300,000. The other competitors will split the remainder of the $1 million payout. Before he was Oklahoma's favorite son, Will Rogers was a Cherokee cowboy from Indian Territory trying to make a name in entertainment. After years spent in Wild West-style traveling shows, Rogers successfully honed his trick roping act with a heap of grounded humor and folk wisdom for the rowdy vaudeville stage. When he made his Broadway debut in the musical comedy The Wall Street Girl on April 15, 1912, Rogers was billed as Lariat Bill, expert with the rope. But that night, he's said to have played a role that even he could not imagine. Betty Blake Rogers, his wife, would later recall that the show's debut performance was interrupted when word spread of the sinking of the Titanic and the hundreds of lives lost in the frigid Atlantic. Lariat Bill, she remembered, somberly delivered the news to the audience. The Wall Street Girl was short-lived, but Rogers would soon move on to major stage stardom in the Ziegfeld Follies and then in Hollywood motion pictures. No matter how far Rogers' wit and talent took him, his persona as Oklahoma's Cherokee cowboy and an ambassador for goodwill remained. That legacy is celebrated today at the Will Rogers Memorial Museums in Rogers County. The Cherokee Nation handed out more than $4 million to area school districts, the most it's ever given out from car tag sales. The tribe awarded checks to 107 school districts during the annual Public School Appreciation Day luncheon. The checks totaled $664,000 more than last year and included 16 additional school districts.
As everybody knows, our state's, well, right now we're facing about a $650 million shortfall in preparing the budget for next year. So we know the news for public schools is not going to be good when next year's budget comes out. So this money will help offset some of that loss we may be facing in the future.
Last year, the Cherokee Nation expanded its tribal car tag sales to be statewide instead of just the 14 counties within its jurisdiction. Because of that, 10,000 more tags were sold than last year, bringing in the extra revenue that made the additional funds available for schools.
Jalagi Iniwonihi. Let's talk Cherokee. First phrase in English. How much does this cost? Hilan Jugan Walshti Hian. How much does this cost? Hila Jugan Walshti Hian. This costs $10. Hian Shkonhi Adelan Jugan Walshti. This costs $10. Hian Shkonhi Adelan Jugan Walshti.
It's a culturally important plant to the Cherokees called river cane. For years, its population has been threatened to near extinction. But as Cherokee citizen Roger Kane shows us, conservation efforts are the first step in bringing it back.
My name is Roger Kane. I'm from Talcott. I was born and raised in Talcott, Oklahoma. I'm half Cherokee. My Cherokee name is Edo, which means walk around aimlessly. And that's kind of what I do, is walk around, hunt for river cane on tribal land. Got into grad school, I realized nobody's studying river canes. And so it's like, I think I'll write a proposal. I wrote a proposal in my grad class and then proposed at Cherokee Nation. And in 2012, they decided to go with the River Cane Initiative. It's a plant that's never really been studied. We are in southern Adair County. We're just south of Bell, Oklahoma, and we're in the heart of Cherokee country here. And so we'll go out and we'll physically walk off. It's called ground truthing, where the river cane is, search for it, then we'll GPS it, and then we map it out. And after we get it mapped out and everything, then we're going to go in, we're going to start measuring, keeping data on it. And what the tribe is doing, once we get this data collected, there are no other tribes with this amount of river cane located on their land. And so what we were hoping to do once we get established is to start creating river cane forests once again, like they used to be. Well, we are taking back being stewards of our land and saying, hey, we're going to start protecting not only animals, we're going to start protecting plants as well. And this plant is good for the environment. If we start to have more river cane along creek banks, the wash-off coming off from the fields up above that are, that have cattle, have livestock grazing on them and stuff like that, when it washes off, it filters down through river cane and it filters out so the creeks are cleaner. River cane is part of the bamboo family, and it's been so important to Cherokees. Southeastern people, all Southeastern people use river cane, not just Cherokee. River cane is an endangered species that's good for the environment. It's tough. I mean, it's been here thousands of years. They find it in the bellies of woolly mammoths eating it. And then they find the river cane inside caves in Tennessee, Missouri, miles deep into caves in Ohio with torches made of river cane. I'm doing this for Cherokee people. I'm doing this for this plant. I'm doing this for our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. It's doing this because this plant deserves to be protected, needs to be acknowledged for its importance. It protected us, it fed us, it did all sorts of stuff for our people going back thousands of years. That's what this plant did. It doesn't deserve to just die off because we've too modern, we don't need this plant. Oh, we need it for baskets or blowguns. We need it for more than that. We need it more for the environment. We need it for our history and our culture. Because it is important, because if it wasn't for river cane, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be Cherokees, we wouldn't be Creek, we wouldn't be Chickasaw, we wouldn't be Choctaw, because this plant pretty much made our houses, made our homes, made our life easier, because that was what we used. It's something that we need to keep on exploring with and reading and researching, and not just depending on books, but also what our family stories and also on our experiences with it as well. You know, this plant did us well when we needed, our ancestors needed it. Let's do them well now.
In eastern Oklahoma, in a town called Westville, there's a retired school teacher who, with a promise to a friend, changed her life forever. For years now, she's used that promise to inspire others to live healthier lives.
My name is Marcela Morton, and I'm from Westville, Oklahoma. I've lived here all my life. I started out really heavy. I didn't care that I was overweight. I didn't want to start exercising, and I liked eating junk food. My friend Janet Franklin, we had been friends since 3rd grade. We were Indian girls, and we just did everything together. We both chose a path of health that wasn't very good, and both of us began to gain a lot of weight after we'd had our daughters. I tore up so many pictures. I was so upset at how big I was and how fat I looked. We prided ourselves in being able to cook like our moms, so we did a lot of greasy cooking and baking and enjoyed that because our families enjoyed living like that and eating like that. We didn't really think that was a bad thing until she got cancer. One day I went to visit with her and I sat down next to her on the couch and we were looking at some yearbooks, and she said, I want you to make me a promise. And she said, I want you to promise me that you'll do something about your health. And so I said, okay, I promise I'll do something about my health. And she looked at me and she said, no, you have to pinky swear. So she lifted her hand and put her little finger up, and her hand was just shaking. She was so weak. And we linked our pinkies, and I said, I promise you I will do something about my health. About 2 weeks after she was gone, I was standing in the kitchen, washing dishes, and just over my shoulder, I heard a voice, and it was just as plain as if you were talking to me, and it said, you promised me. I went into the bedroom and I dug out the only pair of tennis shoes that I owned at that time, and I went outside and I walked for 15 minutes. And it was the longest 15 minutes of my life. I didn't want to walk, I didn't want to exercise. And I finished that 15 minutes and I remember looking up going, is this what you want? So that's exactly how my exercise started. Pretty soon it became running. At the end of 2 months, I could really tell a difference in my body, in my legs, and the way I felt. And I had a lot more energy. And I wasn't sick normally in the fall like I was, had been in the past. So I could see that it was doing some good for me. It just kept progressing because I did the 5Ks and then I wanted to do a 10K. So I did my first 10K in Tahlequah and survived that. Tulsa Run, and then after that I heard about the Jinx Half Marathon. I wanted to do Jinx, so I ran Jinx Half Marathon, and I remember just being so excited because I ran a half marathon, and I thought, if I can do that, I can do a full. And I thought, what a great tribute that would be to my friend to run Boston in her honor. Did some more research and found out that you did have to run a marathon preceding, at a certain time for your age. So I thought, well, maybe I can do this. So my first attempt, I went by myself to Dallas White Rock, and I got right up at the very front of the line, and I didn't feel like I belonged there. So I moved myself back in the pack, but I missed my qualifying time by 8 minutes and 54 seconds. So I had to go back the next year and try again, pick the same marathon. Second time I did things a little bit different. I took my daughters with me, and I knew that they were waiting for me at the finish line, and I ran my qualifying time at age 51. But I remember when my daughters finally got to me, we were just jumping up and down and screaming, and because I'd made it to Boston. Well, it's probably the most exciting race that I've ever been in. It's held on Patriots Day, so all the schools are out, the stores close. Everybody comes out for Boston because it's such a big deal. You gotta understand, I came from couch potato to Boston, so that's just one of the goals I set. And I remember praying and saying, "Dear Lord, just give me enough strength to have my arms upraised when I finish this," because I was getting so tired. I would think about her, and I would think about the promise I'd made to Janet, and I knew that it was the right thing for me to do. Across the finish line, and I did have my arms up. I lost 7.5 pounds and 8 toenails during Boston. That's how tough it was on me. I work for a program called Educational Talent Search. It's a program that deals with students who want to do something post-high school. We encourage them to go to college or to some kind of career tech after high school. I do tell them my story, and I talk about students who really feel like maybe they're from a small town, or their family maybe doesn't support them that much. They can set their own goals, and if they work hard enough, they can achieve practically anything that they want to. Oh, my running group, we are a group of 6. I'm the mentor, I guess. We're called the tribe, the B tribe. Oh my. I think my life would have been a very boring life had I not taken up running, because running has opened up so many avenues for me. I wouldn't have been able to speak to so many people like I have. I just need to talk about Janet, because I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Janet. I kept my promise.
Marcela is also part of the Cherokee Nation's Wings program, where she's rewarded for physical activity. If you'd like to learn more about that program, go to osiyo.tv and click on links mentioned. We hope you've enjoyed our show. There is no Cherokee word for goodbye, because we know we'll see you again. So until next time, Wado.